to the Winton Woods Warrior Supercast, where we highlight what's happening in the Winton Woods City School District. My name is Dana Gagnon from Waycross Community Media, and today in our studio we have Superintendent of the Winton Woods Schools, Steve Denny. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Dana.
I appreciate your willingness to come in and catch everyone up. There's a lot of stuff. It's a whole new school year.
Right.
That means a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
But the school year is not the only thing that's new. People watching might say, hey, this is a different face as superintendent.
Right.
So, of course, most people by now have met you, but I will reintroduce you to anyone who's watching and for some reason has missed this fact up till now. Welcome. You are not new to the school district, though, are you?
No, it's been my home for quite a few years.
Share with us a little bit of your background and why you wanted to serve in this new way to the district.
Yeah, thanks, Dana. Again, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. We appreciate Waycross Community Media. You guys are a great partner to many districts and certainly to Winton Woods, so we appreciate that. Winton Woods is my home. That's how I describe it to people. I've been with Winton Woods Schools for 25 years. I've had a lot of different opportunities, a lot of different roles, and something I'll share with people pretty readily is Winton Woods has been really good to me, my family, but it's been really good to lots and lots of people and many, many families. So it's a good place. It's a special place. And I've been fortunate and blessed to have a lot of different types of opportunities in the district. So I've been a teacher, a high school math teacher, been a coach, been able to be an assistant principal for 4 years, a principal for 4 years, and then for the last 14 years I've served as the director of business affairs for the district, and now excited to have the opportunity to serve as superintendent. And honestly, it's the highlight of my career right now. You know, looking back, I feel like it's an honor and it's a privilege, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had, and I'm eager to be able to try to give back and serve and lead in a different way, in a different role.
I think it's really nice for families to hear how long your involvement with the district goes back.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you see a new face and you think, but do they even know us? Do they know what's unique about us? And also a Winton Woods parent.
Yes, yeah, true.
That's exciting too.
Yes.
Sometimes that's one of the things as parents, you go, okay, but do their kids go to our school? And I know I've sat in here when your son was a recent alumni.
Yes.
And he talked about the great things that he got out of going to school in the district.
Yeah, it's a special place. I mean, it's a unique place. It's special. We offer a lot of opportunities for kids and families and our community and our business partners. And I'm excited to be able to build on those things and hopefully carry that torch and continue those traditions.
So we're talking about how you're going to build on those things. What are your goals and plans that you're bringing into this role?
Yeah, so I talk a little bit about the direction. And again, what's great about stepping in the way that I've been able to step in is it's a continuation of some good things and to be able to build on those. And we really, I'd say maybe three main areas for direction, and then I'll elaborate a little bit more on one of them for sure. But we'd like to really continue to focus on instruction and academics. That's our core business. That's why we exist, is to provide those types of academic opportunities for kids. But second to that, we want to make sure we increase our transparency. We want to be transparent. We want to also listen. We want to take stakeholder feedback into consideration. So listening to parents and staff and students and community members, business partners. So that's important that, that we pay attention to those things and honor those things. And then also we want to celebrate growth and success. We want to celebrate the things that are going well. Absolutely we're not perfect. We have room to grow. It's true for any school system. It's definitely true for us. And so that's part of the listening comes in, is how do we get better? How do we serve our stakeholders better? How do we honor our students and serve them better? When it comes to instruction and academics, we've got 4 main focus areas. And so if you'll forgive me a little bit, I'll dive into that.
Oh, excellent.
But instructionally speaking, we are, again, I've said Winton Woods is a special place. We're unique. We're a project and problem-based learning district. So we look at the fact that we're trying to prepare kids for jobs that don't exist yet, and we know they don't. So the kids that are going to be graduating, in the upcoming years, it's careers that we don't even know what those are going to be. So we want our instructional platform to be able to meet those kinds of challenges and needs for our students. That's where the PBL comes in. So we're developing skills like communication and critical thinking and creativity and collaboration. Those 4 C's are really what employers, no matter where you're going to work, they need those skills. With the advent of things like AI and those types of developments, those skills become even more vital. So the big focus area for us in terms of the first area is PBL and doing that at a high level.
And I just want to define PBL. We say PBL a lot whenever we do programs.
Yeah.
It is not a kind of peanut butter sandwich.
Turns out.
Probably, well, though,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not allergic to peanuts, by all means have one.
Yes.
Project-based learning.
Yes.
Every time we hear PBL, we're
Yes.
talking about that special
Yes.
way that you approach instruction with those project-based learning
Yeah.
styles. Yeah.
And it's not like maybe we had growing up where it's you learn some things and it's traditional school and then you do a project. Instead, it's doing the learning, accessing the grade level content standards through projects. And that's a very different approach because it's much more integrated, it's more real life, it's more accessible, allows kids to work in teams and groups, and you leverage technology. So that's all part of our new tech network model of PBL. So that's the flavor of project-based learning that we use, and it's developing a culture among students, staff, and community of trust, respect, responsibility, and then also delivering those academic content standards in a unique way, where we're trying to reimagine how we teach and how we learn, differently than traditional education to meet the needs and the challenges of the upcoming careers and opportunities for the students.
And it really matches more when we learn something in the real world as a grown-up and we get thrown a new project.
Yeah.
We learn how to do it as we're doing the project.
Right.
That's what happens to us in the work world. So this really prepares them for that a little bit more realistically, I think.
It really does. And so that's how we deliver our grade level content. We also have students that might have other needs where they need skills filled in so they are able to better access the content. That's where our second area comes in. It's called MTSS. We'll make sure we bust the acronyms.
Okay,
we need to be
MTSS.
acronym busters.
Sound that out for me.
MTSS is multiple tiers of student support.
Okay.
So basically what we're doing is putting things in place to help students that need, say, skills and deficits filled to access the content. So, but that also includes our PBIS, which is, again, is another acronym. Positive behavior intervention supports. So that's really trying to help create the best learning environment that we can, in terms of student skills and student conduct and student access to those types of, the skill-based things for kids as well. Looking further, we also want to make sure that we're utilizing assessment effectively and data to help guide instructional decisions. And then finally, we're focused on attendance, making sure that kids are in school, making sure that parents understand the importance of being in school. And so those are the four key areas that we're zeroing in on in terms of academics and academic support and focusing in on instruction.
And that makes sense. We're talking about things that you're doing in groups or plans that you're making to meet these instructional needs.
Yes.
And consistency and being able to regularly be working together with someone is what's going to make those goals achievable.
Absolutely. Yeah, great point.
So that's step one, the instructional goal.
Right.
How about the next one?
So when we talk about increasing transparency and listening, like we plan on having different ways for people to weigh in. So we're about ready to send a survey out to parents. We're going to survey staff about some things later. I just finished a listening session with our high school staff yesterday and had a listening session with middle school staff today. So I'd like to continue to do those around the district, just to check in, provide updates, talk about things that are going well, celebrate the things that are going well, but then listen, what are the things that you're wondering about that maybe could be areas where we could improve? What are the things you really like that we're doing? So those are the kind of approaches that we're going to use to access input.
This is something you have experience doing in the district already because that is how you built those new schools.
That's very true.
There were a whole lot of surveys and interviews, and I know because we had the chance to record a few of them, so we got to see that. So
yes, for sure.
You have that experience already under your belt, and how to go and collect that information and go just be available for people to share their ideas with you.
Yeah, that's definitely the idea. Yeah,
if someone is watching this and they're thinking, I have ideas, or I want to make sure that they get my information, is there one spot they can go to click and share their information?
Well, we can always, we'll talk about this more later, but Parent Square is our main engagement platform and communication platform. But you could also always email communications@wintonwoods.org.
Okay.
And that is another avenue. And you're also always more than welcome to just call our central office. Call 513-619-2300. And that person will find a way. If they don't know the answer, they'll find a way to get you to the right person to give you that answer and an ability to provide that type of input.
It's one thing I see in the Winton Woods School District is people who do not have kids in the schools
Yes.
also have a great interest in what's going on. And I don't see that in
Yeah.
every community. So it's a really interesting thing.
We really appreciate that. You know, we know that roughly around 20% or so of the residents of the district have school-age children. Well, that means about 4/5 of the residents don't. So we're always looking for ways to keep them informed and connected to the work. And, you know, so our social media is a great platform for that. We have a community engagement coordinator, Drew Jackson, who does a great
Yes.
job. And she can always be contacted as well in ways to connect the community to the work of our schools and what's going on.
So the instructional needs and the transparency and the communication needs,
Yes.
but then also celebrating
Yes.
is the third aspect of that. Talk about
Yes.
that.
Well, so yeah, we look for ways to celebrate success. We kicked off this year with our convocation with celebrating things that are going well in the district, and then also recognizing and acknowledging and thanking our staff. So we have staff that, like me, have been there a long time, and it's because Winton Woods is a great place to learn, work, and grow, and we know that. So people choose to stay, and that's I think a thing to celebrate in and of itself. But apart from that, we have Nights of Excellence, where we celebrate the project-based learning that are coming up. So we have a couple of those coming up, one for North Campus and one for South Campus later this year. We celebrate every month at board meetings. We have community recognitions. We have increased reporting at our board meetings about student achievement, and again, keeping that as a focus. So that's going back to a prior point, but in terms of transparency and celebrating and sharing things with the community, things that are going well, but also things that we're going to work on. So we have different awards that we do every board meeting and recognizing students and staff that are doing great things. So we just try to be in a continual celebration mode, you know, and we're always looking for other ways to do that.
Speaking of kids running around the neighborhood and all these buildings, let's talk about the Early Childhood Central Campus.
Sure.
Because that has some new, exciting news.
Yes.
Tell me what's going on there.
So we are super excited to announce that we have opened a brand new renovated building. It is if we go back in the history of the district, the Early Childhood Central Campus was the intermediate school.
Okay.
Prior to that, it was Waycross Elementary School. Prior to that, it was Forest Park Middle School. So that may resonate with different residents, you know, that have come up in the Forest Park or Green Hills or Winton Woods school systems. But yeah, that just opened this year. We're very excited about it. It is a total makeover. I mean, it is a true renovation. And the goal was to bring the learning environment for our youngest warriors, our preschoolers and kindergartners, and the staff that serve them, and the families that are connected to that school and the community, bring that up to a level that was on par more with the new buildings. So we've got these brand new buildings opened in 2021, North Campus, South Campus, and now in 2024 we've got the opening of the Early Childhood Central Campus, and it's really been exciting to see that, and we're very excited to
This is
announce
exciting because I know that means, first of all, you had 2 grades in your district, pre-K and K,
Right.
that didn't really get to reap the benefits of all that excitement, new
Right.
buildings. But they weren't just new buildings. They were new buildings that solved problems that had to do with doing a new kind of project-based learning in
Yes.
buildings that were designed for an old kind of learning, like when we were
Right.
kids.
Right.
And let alone not having enough power outlets. I mean, there were some really simple,
Real. Very real.
technical limitations that anyone teaching in an older building is
Right.
familiar with. But then also the spaces just weren't set up for that.
Right.
Which means you were trying to prep the 2 littlest grades to go into that in spaces that were definitely not designed for that.
No, in fact, when you try to teach in a non-traditional way in a traditional space, you quote unquote bump into your own facility. So that barrier has been removed for our kids and our teachers, and so that's a big deal. In addition to that, it's climate controlled, so it's the security of the building is enhanced, and that's really important, obviously,
Yeah.
this day and age. So we now have, you know, I don't want to go into too much detail, but there are
Right.
enhanced security measures that are, again, more on par with what we have in the new construction. And that's really important to be able to assure all of our families that we've got comparable levels of security and safety in place for the students and staff.
What are some of the other highlights of this remodel that you want to let folks know about?
Yeah, so I think part of it is the addition of flexible learning spaces. We're, again, trying to make sure that we're able to be flexible in meeting the learning needs for the little ones and for the teachers. More technology so in those spaces, so and supporting it appropriately with terms of touchpads or Chromebooks or those kinds of things for our youngest learners. We have a full-size gym now. We've never had that before. It's a gymatorium, but it's dedicated most of the time for gym use. It can double as a concert venue if it needs to. We have a multi-purpose room that used to be the cafeteria, so it can still be used in that way, but it's also a large motor space, so it can be used for active learning, alternatives to maybe indoor recess if it needed to, if it could be potentially pressed into that type of a role, especially when we get into the winter months, and provide those types of avenues for kids. It's just a large overhaul for the space, and we're excited about that.
Are you hearing from teachers how they feel about getting teach in this new renovated space?
They love it. We've gotten a lot of positive feedback, and so our teachers are happy, so we're happy, and our students are happy, and that's just goes a long way.
Oh gosh, and you want this if the teachers are happy, I mean,
Yeah,
that's everybody.
right.
So this past school year, the district had 2 major capital improvement projects. What were those?
So 2 major capital improvement apart from the renovation, because that's the major one. And again, that was funded by ESSER funds from the federal government, as well as capital improvement funds that our voters graciously, thank you, passed years ago to fund construction, capital improvement, and technology. So that was funded away from the general fund. But when we talk about big capital improvement projects that are ongoing and planned, we did large roofing project at the Early Childhood Center. And the thinking was, it's time to do that anyways, not connected to construction, but important to do it on schedule because we've got brand new everything in that building. Mm-hmm. So protecting it, making sure it's warm, safe, and dry is really critical. So a roofing project, and also we did a fire alarm project at the community building. Those are the 2 big capital improvement projects from last school year that are both really critical.
And that's just upkeep and safety.
Yes.
And you definitely don't want those things not happening.
No, they're critical.
But we said it really briefly, or you said it really briefly, but I feel like it's worth saying again, is that this comes from funds. They're not part of the general fund budget.
Correct.
And that's key because we all want to know that, right?
No, and it's really our assurance to our taxpayers that the renovation of the Early Childhood Center is not something that's going to be a transfer of general fund funds that support the salaries and the textbooks and the computers and all of the things that make our district go. That's the general fund. That's true for all school districts. So we wanted to make sure we preserved that and utilized alternate funding methods, from the sale of property, for example, and also the federal funds. That was huge, and that funded a massive portion of the cost of the construction.
So that is one of the major challenges of every school district is maintaining financial stability. So how does Winton Woods do that?
Well, we use budgeting, first of all. We use need-based budgeting. So that's, I guess, the first main thing. And that's really supported. Our treasurer, Randy Seymour, does a great job with helping all of us set our budgets and meet the needs that we have while also staying balanced in terms of the financial stability and assuring fiscal responsibility. We also have protocols in place for overtime, so we're real thoughtful about how overtime is granted and utilized, and we just put things in place to try to not add cost without. We'll look for ways to cut cost if we can. Like say we want to add this program here. We're going to have some conversations first about, is that an increase to the budget? Can the budget sustain that? Or do we need to look for things that maybe we need to not do in order to fund this because this is a bigger priority? So those are always ongoing conversations, but we really work hard. We realize our community is responsible for supporting us. It's their tax dollars. We understand that. We value that. And so we are really thoughtful about adding cost to the budgets.
What does Winton Woods do to keep teachers, to find teachers?
Yeah, great question. So subs are definitely a need. It's not just a Winton Woods issue or a Hamilton County issue, or even an Ohio issue. It's really a national issue. So we're always looking for teachers, especially special education, especially math and science. Those are the big ticket items. So if you're out there and you're interested in working for our district, we would love to talk to you. But one of the things that we do, I think that's real special, is we have a program in our district called Growing Our Own.
Okay.
So these are professionals in our district who might be in roles that are, maybe they're a substitute teacher, or maybe they're an instructional or an educational aide, and they're interested in becoming a teacher, we will come alongside them and help them do that financially, as well as providing those student teacher opportunities and those types of things to get them into a classroom eventually and help them get certified and licensed, resident educator, the whole 9 yards that we need to do to help develop staff that are in our district into teachers. So we're always looking for subs. So that's one big program we have that we're really proud of. And we've had multiple people over the last few years transition into teaching roles that were in different roles. But we're always looking for substitute teachers. We're always looking for bus drivers. If you're interested in driving for us, we will even help you obtain your CDL. So feel free to call Winton Woods Central Office, 619-2300, 513-619-2300, and we'll be happy to talk to you because we would love to continue to add bus drivers as well as instructional aides, that's a need, food service workers, and then teachers, so especially subs. But yeah, we're always looking to grow our own because you know the system, you know the community, you know our kids. We have great kids, great families, great teachers, great staff. How do we grow them into teaching roles?
So, and I think bus drivers, substitute teachers, that's kind of an entry point, but I think people have questions about it and what do I need to do? Is there a spot on your website that folks can go and say, I want to know more about this?
Yeah, definitely. And we also subscribe to a consortium. Many other districts do, but the Hamilton County Teaching Consortium, you can actually go to that. But again, call our central office. We'll route you the right way. Visit www.wintonwoods.org. That is our website. There's a lot of resources there. There's an About Us section where you can learn about our district. There's a lot of resources there. So, and we're always looking to keep that updated and improved as well. So yeah, we definitely want people to check out our website.
What challenges are you looking at working on going forward in the district?
Well, again, our number one priority is academics. So we're always looking for ways to improve. How do we meet our students' needs better? So that gets back to what we talked about earlier. We're talking about our plans, our improvement plans, and every building has one. The district has one. So it gets back to those 4 big rocks: project-based learning, MTSS, so multiple tiers of supports, that's supporting students that need extra help, right? Using data to drive instruction, and in attendance, getting kids to school. So those are the 4 big pillars we're really trying to push this year. It's not new. This is things that Winton Woods has been doing, is continuing to do, but we want to improve those processes and create opportunities for kids to have better outcomes and have better opportunities. And we really think that those 4 things will move the needle for our students. And so we really want to focus on those. And, if someone says, hey, what about this idea? Well, is it aligned to the big rocks? Is it aligned to the big things we're trying to do? Because that's where we really want to push our attention and our focus.
That's important because there's a lot of things that are also good ideas, but if you try to chase every single good idea, you probably will not make a whole lot of headway towards any particular one of them. So
that's a great point, Dana. If you focus on everything, are you focusing on something?
Yeah, and that is
if you focus on everything, are you focusing on nothing? So really prioritizing and pushing resources and time and attention and focus to those things.
And that's something my personal brain is my browser tabs will testify. No, you're not focusing on anything if you're focused on everything. I've checked it, I've tried it, and it doesn't work. So we mentioned this a little bit. You mentioned platforms, but let's talk about what platforms the district uses to connect with parents and with the community.
Yeah, our main connective device, and it is, or platform, and it is two-way. It does allow two-way communication. So it's not just pushing out, you also can communicate back, is Parent Square. And it is a great resource. So there's information about it on our website. If you'd like to be on there and you're not, visit the website, or again, call us and we'll be happy to coach you and connect you with people that can set you up with an account. But Parent Square is a great communications platform. And a lot of people out there don't know that about this about Winton Woods, but we have 31 different spoken languages in our school system this year. Some of them are dialects, but it's still the recognition of the fact that we have a lot of different spoken languages, and so Parent Square can translate into those. Increasingly, Google can translate into that as well, but Parent Square is great with that. So, if you need it in Fulani, for example, or you need it in French or Spanish, or you can do that with Parent Square, and it's just a great resource for that. In addition, we also make sure we support social media because a lot of folks consume information that way. So Facebook, Nextdoor, and Twitter. So those are, I believe, those are the main platforms that we would encourage people to take a look at. And it's a preference thing. Some people prefer their information a certain way, so we want to provide multiple opportunities for people to hear about the good things that are going on in their district, or opportunities or things that they might want to get in touch with.
So I'm going to say, go to the Facebook page and click the follow button. Because, and again, this could just be my brain with all the browsers, but because you'll see a post come up and it will remind you to go look at your square, your parent square.
Yeah, it's good. Great point.
Because maybe every single thing you needed wasn't in the Facebook post, but it will remind you, oh yeah, I bet there's a square about that. I better go look.
Yeah.
And it will be translated.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What a resource. 31 languages and dialects.
Yes, yeah, 31 different languages, over 30 languages this year. Now, it changes all the time, but
year to year it's a little.
We have true linguistic diversity in our district, and we have diversity in so many different ways, and it's a beautiful thing. It's part of what makes us special. It is part of what makes Winton's a great place to be present and learning and working and growing.
And I think of kids growing up hearing all those different languages, like this is a normal thing.
Yes.
And how enriching is that?
Yeah,
That's
it adds a lot. It really does.
But also more challenges for you to make sure that you're serving every single one of them.
Yeah, it's an opportunity and it's also a responsibility.
You've been superintendent for a little while now.
Sure.
What do you enjoy most so far about this role?
I'd say two things. One is things that I'm fortunate and blessed to be able to do with the students. So that's why we're here. It's what gets us out of bed in the morning. And so doing things with kids, having an opportunity to interact with them, that's something I really enjoy. And I think the second thing, honestly, Dana, is being able to tell our story. I think sometimes people feel like they know school because we all went to school, but being able to tell the story about our district and our programs and our kids. And again, we have great kids, we have great families, we have great staff, we have great community members, great business partners, and just being able to share that story to help people understand, this is us, this is who we are, and this is what we're about. And we have just a lot of great things going on, and the ability to share that's really a lot of fun.
That has been one of my favorite things in this studio, is to get to meet students and teachers and parents and administrators that talk about specific superstar programs. That was the whole reason many, many moons ago this program was conceived, is to make sure that we got to share all those great things.
I love it.
So I appreciate your willingness to come in and share more of those stories with us. I think we have covered lightning speed. People's eyebrows are singed right now if they've watched all the way to the end. So I'll say make sure you're watching first of all, make sure you're watching for future episodes, because we're going to keep highlighting superstars in the Winton Woods School District. But also make sure you are following on social media and that you have gone to your Parent Square. If you're a parent watching this is your reminder to go to your Parent Square right now and see if there's anything in there you need to check. There you go. Don't say I didn't tell you.
All right.
But also just to watch the website, because there's a lot happening, and we can't hit it all in this particular one little segment. Right. Is there anything else you want to leave families with before we wrap up?
Just that we're so proud of our kids and our teachers and what we're doing to develop those things for kids. We like to characterize ourselves as a triple threat district in terms of academics, the 3 A's, right? Academics, athletics, and arts. And those things mean a lot to our community. And we're first and foremost an academic institution, but we really want people to be able to experience those things that help develop the whole child too, right? Like academics and the arts and opportunities like this, like our kids that are engaged in other extracurricular club activities. We have a warrior broadcasting crew, for example, and I know you've had opportunities to have interactions with them. And so those types of opportunities just go so far in developing the whole child. And that's really what our district is about.
Well, thank you again for coming into the studio, making sure we can keep the community connected to the school district.
Yes.
And I want to thank you for watching. That means you want to make sure you're informed about what's going on in the Winton Woods City School District. And I'll see you next time. Whoa!